heart, then they can't be a good martial artist. They might just become a good criminal. They might just become a good fighter, or just a good bully. But they're not going to be a good martial artist. And that is something where some people are might be misguided. They might have a mask um, to make it appear as if they're a bad person, but inside they're good. And those people, they can be good martial artists. But people that have just totally stepped across the line, and they just have bad hearts, and they just don't care about anything, they don't care about other people, they don't care about anything about themselves, and that's it, then I really feel that they, you know, there's no point of wasting time training those types of people, because they've already crossed over the line and they're not willing to come back. And those people can't be good martial artists. They could just be good fighters, and that's it. So I aim to train people that have that good heart from within, that natural humbleness, that modesty, and just a feeling of wanting to help people. And with combined with discipline, then that's what makes a good martial artist to me. What sort of qualities does martial arts build into a person? Well, if it's taught in the correct ways, alright? If it's taught in the right ways, then martial arts is supposed to teach people to be more humble, to be more confident, to be modest, to be expressive as artists, to be able to express themselves and not be afraid of other people, not let bullies bully them around, but at the same time not being aggressive and not being a bully themselves. You know, it can teach people to have integrity, teach people to stand up for what's right, even when they're against the majority. It could teach people to just be a stronger human being, a stronger person, and just really becoming a leader, somebody that is worth following, somebody that basically helps guide, you know, people around them into something better and greater. That's what martial arts can do for somebody. Somebody that's shy, it can make them it can get them to be more expressive. Somebody that's insecure, it can make them feel insecure. Somebody that's weak, it can make them strong. Somebody that's inconfident, it'll make them confident. You know, it just completely changed the person into somebody stronger and you know, basically more expressive as a human being, as an artist. And that's what it could really do for people, alright? If it's taught in the right ways, alright? Chocolate chip cookies or tea? Well, not really into tea, because it kind of like stains your teeth. But I do like Arizona, you know, green tea, so I like that. Chocolate chip cookies, I don't really eat too much of that, but you know, I would eat it every now and then. It's good. So I guess if you gave me a choice of either tea or chocolate chip cookies, I guess I'll take a chocolate chip cookie. Have I studied any weapons? Well, I did, I do know how to use the staff, the bow staff. You know, I trained in that for a little while. I do know how to use the nunchucks. I trained in that in a little while. I do know how to use a gun, alright? I do know how to use a knife, alright? Those are the main weapons that I do know how to use, alright? And so I studied those weapons. Any weapons you haven't studied that you'd like to do? Actually, I'm not into weapons training too much. I'm more of specializing in unarmed combat. Alright, weapons training to me is, you know, especially the traditional weapons, it's not practical, because you can't, to me it's not practical, because you can't just carry a bow staff. You're not going to really be carrying a bow staff with you every when you go around out there in the public. You're not going to be carrying a sword with you. You know, you're not really even going to be carrying nunchucks with you. I mean, first of all that stuff is illegal. I mean, not all of it, but I mean, nunchucks, you know, even like carrying a baton with you, it's not legal. So it's not practical. Most weapons are not practical because there are illegal. If they were legal, if you're allowed to carry a katana and a sword with you everywhere, then yeah, I would be training in that, you know, if it was legal. But it's not. If it was legal for you to carry a gun everywhere with you, then I would train in it more than I do. But it's not. At least where I live, it's not. So I will train and specialize in certain weapons depending on the law around me, of where I live and what I can and can't carry around me. If it's not legal, then I'm not going to put a majority of my energy into training in it, because it's pointless to even have it, because if you have it and you get caught with it, then you're going to end up going to jail and being labeled as a criminal just because you have something that's designed to protect yourself. And that's not smart. So I specialize in unarmed combat because they can't take that away from me. They can't take my fists and my feet away from me. They can't take the knowledge of knowing how to fight away from me. It's within me. So I specialize in that because I think that's the most practical. And when you learn to perfect that, and you learn to strive towards perfecting that, then any weapon that you use, you will be more efficient with it. Even if you don't know how to use it, just having that weapon in your hand and being already trained as a martial artist in unarmed combat, you will already kind of know how to use the weapon anyway. Alright, so no, I don't really strive to learn any weapons, because I think that really I aim for more peace, and weapons to me is kind of like, people could always try to label you as saying, oh, he has this knife, so he's trying to hurt somebody, or he has this weapon, and then they could label you as a violent person. But if you just take all weapons away, then they don't really have that leverage on you to kind of label you as a violent person. So say you're a good person, but you carrying a gun around, somebody could just call the cops on you and say, there is a person with a gun, and then now there's 10 squad cars surrounding you, all with police officers pointing guns at you, just because you have a gun. And doesn't mean that you did anything wrong, but you just had a gun. But if you don't have the gun, you just walk around with no weapons, then no one's gonna really call any police on you. Even if they did, you didn't do anything, you don't have anything. So carrying a weapon in itself already could make people imply that you're a violent person, that you might hurt somebody. So I do not encourage people to train with weapons, because that's kind of heading towards more of like, it ends up becoming more of, you may possibly use the weapons in the wrong way, or somebody might take the weapon from you, or you might lose the weapon and the weapon ends up being used against you, or people will may get the mistaken assumption that you are gonna do harm with that weapon. So that's my views on weapons. As far as like weapons training is concerned, the most practical and the most useful, if you have the lawful authority to use it, is knives and guns. And that's mainly, if there is any weapons training in my art, it's going to be focused on those two, knives and guns. And those are the two that are the most practical, the most useful, the most concealable, and the most that you will ever find out there on the streets. Knives and guns. So those are the two weapons that, out of any weapons training that I would do, would be those, knives and guns. But your ability to carry a knife is limited, and your ability to carry a gun is dictated on which state you live in and what the laws are around you, and things of that nature. Alright. Also depends on your profession. If you're a police officer, then you are able to carry a gun, so then your training will be different. Alright. If you are somebody that doesn't care about the law and you carry weapons anyway, because you just do, then your training will be different as well. But as far as my training is concerned, I am focused and specialized on